Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The quietest ones are always watching, not because they're shy, but because they're calculating. Before you even realize you're being tested, a Sigma male already knows if you pass or fail. And here's the kicker, he'll never tell you. No warning, no scoreboard, just quiet observations, laser-sharp instincts, and a mental notebook with your name on it. It's not a game, it's not manipulation, it's survival. Studies show that emotionally intelligent individuals often rely more on observation than confrontation. And no one embodies that like the Sigma male. He doesn't argue. He just studies you like a human lab rat, except there's no cheese at the end. Just a door that quietly shuts behind you if you fail. This isn't about being mysterious or unavailable, please. Those are Instagram captions. A Sigma male doesn't test people because he's insecure. He tests people because he values his peace more than your presence. And the most twisted part, the tests are hidden in plain sight, and 90% of people walk right into them, smiling. So, if you think you're vibing with a Sigma male, you might already be taking the exam. Let's break down the 12 silent tests he uses to separate the real from the reckless. And trust me, this isn't multiple choice. Number 1, he pretends to be less intelligent than he is. A Sigma male will often pretend to be less intelligent than he actually is. And not because he lacks confidence or enjoys playing dumb. It's a test, one that most people fail without blinking. He might ask a question he already knows the answer to, say something that seems a little off, or casually understate his knowledge, and then he watches. Not your answer, but your reaction. Do you talk down to him? Do you correct him with a smug tone? Do you start showing off your own knowledge, trying to sound superior? If you do, he quietly adds your name to the ego-driven and untrustworthy list. This move is less about intellect and more about emotional radar. He's not testing how smart you are, he's testing whether your intelligence comes with humility or arrogance. Because for a Sigma, intelligence without self-awareness is just noise. He knows exactly how fake smart people behave. They get loud when they think they're the smartest person in the room. They interrupt, condescend, and start monologuing when they think they have the upper hand. And the moment they think you're not as sharp as them, that's when their real personality shows. That's the part he wants to see. He knows he can reveal his full depth to only a few people, so he creates this little trap, not to fool you, but to unmask you. It's subtle. You'll never know you were being tested. He's not looking for people who can solve quantum physics. He's looking for people who can handle depth without needing to dominate it. If you meet his quiet intelligence with respect, curiosity, or just honest presence, he takes note. If you start peacocking and puffing up, that's game over. There's also a hint of entertainment in it for him. Sigma males aren't arrogant, but they definitely enjoy watching fake experts dig their own graves. He's already 5 steps ahead, silently amused, and just waiting for the performance to end. People often mistake him for slow, unmotivated, or average until it's too late. By the time they realize who they were dealing with, he's already moved on. Because for a Sigma male, intelligence isn't something to prove, it's something to protect. And if you fail this test, you never even get close enough to see the rest. Number 2, he measures how long it takes before you try to figure him out. A Sigma male knows the difference between genuine curiosity and subtle control disguised as interest. At first, your questions might seem harmless. What's your story? Why are you so quiet? What are you really thinking? But behind every question, he's scanning for intent. Are you trying to connect? Or are you trying to dissect him like a riddle you're desperate to solve? The moment your curiosity crosses the line into emotional surgery, he checks out, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. He doesn't mind being misunderstood, he expects it. What he can't stand is being treated like a project. The moment you start poking around trying to figure him out as if there's some code to crack or hidden wound to uncover, you've missed the point entirely. He's not some emotionally complex mystery waiting for a savior. He's a self-contained system. And anyone who assumes they're entitled to unpack that system instantly loses his respect. This test is simple but brutally effective. He won't stop you from asking. He won't give you any warnings. He'll let you dig and pry and theorize, and then, just when you think you're getting somewhere, he'll ghost you like you never existed, not out of spite, not because he's cruel, but because your need to define him told him everything he needed to know. You weren't trying to know him. You were trying to own him. That's what makes this test so slippery. Most people think they're bonding when they're actually boundary pushing. They think getting someone to open up is a sign of closeness, when for him, it feels like emotional trespassing. He values mystery not because he's hiding something, but because he knows some things lose their meaning when exposed to too much light. His depth isn't for decoding, it's for respecting. So when someone approaches him with patience, presence, and zero pressure, that's rare, that's valuable. That's the kind of person he actually lets in. But the ones who treat him like a fascinating puzzle to complete, he doesn't get angry, he just makes sure they never get past the surface again. And number 3, he observes how you treat people you think are powerless. A Sigma male pays close attention to how you treat people who hold no power over you, especially the ones society tends to ignore. He won't say anything, he won't call you out. But the moment you snap at a waitress, roll your eyes at a janitor, or act entitled with someone in customer service, you failed a test you didn't know you were taking. He's not impressed by how you act around people you want something from. Anyone can be polite to a boss, a love interest, or someone with status. That's easy. That's performance. He's watching what happens when there's nothing to gain. No reward, no spotlight, no social currency. Just raw human interaction. And if you show even a hint of superiority or disregard towards someone just doing their job, it tells him everything he needs to know about your character. To him, that one moment speaks louder than 1,000 compliments. Because he knows this truth. The way you treat someone you think is beneath you is exactly how you'll treat him once you think you own him. It might not happen right away, but the second he drops the mystery, the second you think you've secured him, that same entitlement will show up, and he won't stick around to see it play out. It doesn't matter how attractive, successful, or interesting you are. If you see people as disposable, replaceable, or invisible, you become invisible to him. Respect for a Sigma male isn't something he gives away because you're charming for 5 minutes. It's earned by how you behave when no one is watching, especially when the person in front of you can't do anything for you. He doesn't need you to be perfect. He just needs to see that you have humility, empathy, and a sense of equality that runs deeper than Instagram quotes. If you fail this test, he won't argue or explain, he'll just mentally mark you as unsafe. And once he does that, no second chance, no apology, no charming effort will undo it. You may never even realize what you did wrong, but he does. And that's why you'll never hear from him again. When a Sigma male brings up something controversial, politics, religion, social issues, the kind of topics that make most people squirm, it's never by accident. He doesn't do it to start a fight or provoke you. He does it to see if you actually think for yourself, or if you're just another echo chamber in human form. He'll drop a polarizing statement into conversation like it's no big deal, then sit back and observe. Not your opinion, but how you form it. Do you panic and switch the subject? Do you quote whatever's trending on social media? Do you instantly get defensive like your beliefs are fragile glass? Or worse, do you start parroting what you think he wants to hear, hoping to impress him with borrowed thoughts? That's when he knows you don't have a spine for depth. Because to him, intellectual tension is not a threat, it's a signal, a sign of presence. He wants to see if you can stand in discomfort without losing your sense of self. Not agree with him, not debate to win, but just hold your own without collapsing. That's rare, that's power. He's not impressed by perfect answers, he's watching for substance. He's trying to see if you've earned your opinion or just inherited it from the last influencer you watched. It's not about being right, it's about being real. He respects people who challenge him, who ask good questions, who can admit, "I don't know," without shame. That shows maturity, that shows range. But if you get flustered, offended, or default to outrage at the first sign of disagreement, you've already told him you're not ready. Because someone who can't handle different viewpoints can't handle real connection. And Sigma males aren't here for surface-level harmony. They want depth. Depth requires friction, and friction exposes truth. So when he casually tosses a hot topic into the conversation, don't take the bait. Hold your ground, not with fake confidence or polished takes, but with your mind fully switched on. If you can do that, he'll notice. And if you can't, well, he'll notice that too. Number 4, he gives you space to be your full self, then watches what you do with it. A Sigma male's silence isn't shyness, it's strategy. One of his sharpest tests is the space he gives you from the beginning. No pressure, no chasing, no performative effort to win you over. He just exists in your life without trying to shape how you see him. And in that space, he observes what version of you shows up when no one's trying to manage your behavior. Most people are so addicted to labels and structure that they can't handle it. The freedom unsettles them. So what happens? They start poking and prodding. What are we? Where is this going? So why are you so hard to read? Not because they genuinely want clarity, but because they can't tolerate someone who doesn't need constant validation to feel secure. And that's exactly what he's testing. He wants to see if you can sit in openness without trying to dominate it. Can you handle ambiguity without spiraling? Can you exist with someone without turning it into a power play? Or will you try to push him into a role, boyfriend, best friend, emotional crutch, just so you can feel safe? He doesn't give space to create distance. He gives it to create revelation. That freedom exposes your wiring. If you use it to be authentic, relaxed, curious, he sees it. But if you fill that space with tests, demands, or attempts to cage him, he shuts the door quietly and permanently. The wild part? He won't even argue with you about it. He won't say you're being needy or you're moving too fast. He'll just watch your behavior as if it's a mirror. And once he's seen enough, he'll vanish with surgical precision, not out of cruelty, but because he refuses to be in a connection where freedom has to be earned instead of respected. Most people talk about letting others be themselves. A Sigma male actually does it, and then sees what you do with the silence. If you thrive in that space, he'll open more. But if you suffocate in it and start building emotional cages to trap him in, he'll leave before the door even locks. Number 5, he lets you talk first, then assesses your pattern. When a Sigma male asks you a question and then goes quiet, he's not being polite, he's conducting a silent audit. He'll throw out something simple like, so what do you do? Or, what matters most to you these days? And just stop. No follow-up, no interjection, no unnecessary filler. That silence, that's the trap. Most people rush to fill it, and in doing so, they reveal more than they ever intended. He's not just listening to your answer, he's scanning for your pattern. Do you launch into a monologue listing accomplishments like a walking resume? Do you casually slip in self-praise wrapped in fake humility? Do you overshare your childhood trauma like it's a bonding shortcut? Or do you start dodging altogether, turning everything into a joke or rerouting the focus back to him because you're uncomfortable with the spotlight? That's when he knows who you are. If you overshare, he sees desperation for validation. If you deflect everything with sarcasm, he sees someone afraid of being seen. If you start name-dropping, flexing status, or narrating your life like it's an Instagram highlight reel, he clocks the ego instantly. You think you're making a good impression. He sees a walking billboard screaming, "Please like me!" And the more you talk, the less he says, because he doesn't need to. Every word you use without intention exposes how you function under pressure, what you prioritize, and where your insecurities hide. He's testing not your story, but your self-awareness. Do you speak with presence, or are you just trying to impress, distract, or control the energy? This is why Sigma males rarely interrupt. They let people ramble, flatter themselves, dig holes, or expose their masks, all without lifting a finger. Most don't even realize they're being evaluated until much later, when the Sigma quietly disappears and they're left wondering why. It's not because you said something wrong, it's because you couldn't shut up long enough to be real. He's not looking for perfection. He's looking for authenticity, restraint, presence. If you can hold space without performing, you pass. If you talk yourself in circles trying to be impressive, well, you told him everything he needed to know. Number 6, he watches how you react when you can't control the situation. A Sigma male doesn't test your patience with drama. He tests it with discomfort. It's subtle, clean, and surgical. He might cancel plans with barely an explanation. He might pull back emotionally just when things feel close. He might respond to emotional bait with a straight face and no reaction. Not to punish you, but to see what happens when you're no longer in control of the rhythm. Because when everything's going your way, of course you're easy to get along with. Of course you're calm, charming, supportive. But what happens when you're left hanging? What shows up when you don't get the text you expected or the moment suddenly doesn't cater to your comfort? That's what he's looking for. Do you get passive-aggressive, start guilt-tripping, suddenly need clarity right now to calm your own anxiety? Do you start poking for reassurance because your emotional grip just got a little loose? Or do you hold your ground, stay emotionally self-contained, and let the moment breathe without trying to twist it into something more predictable? A Sigma male knows the difference between real calm and performance calm. Real calm isn't conditional. It doesn't vanish the second the situation becomes inconvenient or unclear. He's watching for emotional endurance. Can you stay grounded when there's nothing to latch onto? Or are you only composed when everything is neatly scheduled, labeled, and under your control? This test isn't about drama, it's about depth. He doesn't want someone who reacts like a fire alarm the second something shifts. He wants someone who can sit in uncertainty without losing their center. That's rare. That's power. That's what makes you actually safe to him. He doesn't announce this test. He just throws a little chaos into the mix, just enough to knock the rhythm off, and lets your nervous system do the talking. If you stay cool, don't demand emotional maintenance, and don't make it all about you, he'll quietly take note. You pass. But if your mask slips and the need for control flares up, that tells him all he needs to know, and he'll start detaching before you even realize what's happening. You don't need to be perfect, just solid when things aren't. That's the real test. Number 7, he makes you laugh, just to see if your humor is dark, dumb, or deep. A Sigma male doesn't just crack a joke to break the ice. He weaponizes humor to cut through the surface. He'll say something that's not quite safe, not quite expected. Maybe it's dry, dark, a little twisted, or layered in sarcasm. And then he watches. Not your laugh, but what kind of laugh you give. Do you get it? Do you flinch? Do you fake a giggle? Do you get awkward and try to change the subject? That moment tells him everything. To him, humor isn't just about being funny. It's about depth, intellect, and emotional bandwidth. If you laugh from the gut with understanding, not just because it's edgy, but because it's smart, you've passed a massive test without even knowing it. But if you tighten up, moralize, or throw in a "that's not funny" like you're the world's self-appointed ethics committee, he's already mentally checked out. Because for him, humor is a coded language. And how you respond tells him if you can handle discomfort, nuance, and playfulness without freaking out. If your humor is all filters and pre-approved punchlines, he sees someone shaped by social safety nets, not someone who thinks freely. But if you meet his sharpness with wit of your own, or even escalate it with finesse, that's rare. That's gold. He's not trying to be offensive. He's trying to spark something unfiltered. And humor is the fastest way to pull that out. Most people live behind a script, especially early on. They say what they think they're supposed to. But laughter? That's real. It can't be rehearsed. That reaction comes from your wiring. And he wants to see if your wiring is dull, defensive, or delightful. If your idea of funny is TikTok-level fluff or tired memes, he's bored within seconds. If you can't take a joke without turning it into a TED Talk on ethics, he won't even argue. He'll just go silent. But if you throw it back with intelligence, timing, and a little darkness of your own, you've just unlocked a level of connection most people will never reach with him. So when he drops that subtle, wicked comment, don't miss the cue. It's not just a joke, it's a signal. And whether you laugh, scold, or crumble, that tells him exactly who you are. And number 8, he watches if you try to make him jealous. A Sigma male isn't your typical drama magnet, so don't expect him to play the jealousy game. If you try to bait him by flirting with others just to see if he reacts, or if you casually name-drop exes like it's some twisted power move, he's already mentally checked out. He's not impressed by the circus of attention-seeking. It's boring to him. He doesn't chase approval or validation, and he definitely won't stick around to compete for it. The moment you start trying to stir up jealousy, you reveal something crucial. Insecurity masked as a game. That need to provoke a reaction screams that you're fishing for attention because you don't trust your own worth or the connection you supposedly share. For a Sigma male, that's a huge red flag. He's built on self-sufficiency and quiet confidence. He expects the same from anyone close to him. Instead of rising to the bait, he pulls away. No drama, no argument, just a subtle exit that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Unlike the usual loud breakups or heated confrontations, his disappearance is clean and final. He's not interested in competing on anyone's stage or playing second fiddle in a popularity contest. Trying to make him jealous isn't a test, it's a deal breaker. He values authenticity and mutual respect, not emotional games or attention theatrics. If you want to hold his interest, show him you don't need the spotlight or other people's validation to feel secure. Otherwise, he'll quietly vanish, leaving you to wonder what just happened. In his world, confidence isn't loud or flashy. It's steady and self-contained. If you can't meet that standard, no amount of jealousy baiting will keep him around. The circus is his exit sign, not the stage he chooses to perform on. Number 9, he tracks how you handle boredom. A Sigma male lives in a world where silence isn't awkward. It's a space full of meaning. He doesn't need constant noise, endless distractions, or the background buzz of dopamine hits to feel alive or connected. So one of the quietest, most telling tests he puts you through is watching how you handle boredom around him. Not the kind of boredom you fix by scrolling through your phone or turning on the TV, but real unfiltered stillness. Just the two of you, no agenda, no noise, no escape hatch. If you find yourself freaking out in those moments, scrambling for something to fill the void, that's a flashing neon sign to him. It shows that you're uncomfortable with yourself when there's nothing else to grab onto. You might start tapping your phone, changing the subject, making small talk just to avoid the silence, or even stirring up drama to inject energy. It's a form of emotional noise cancelling, and he sees it as a major mismatch. To him, needing that constant stimulation means you're skimming the surface of life, afraid to dive into what's real and raw. On the other hand, if you can sit with him in quiet and actually enjoy it, you're speaking his language. That stillness becomes a shared space where connection happens without words. No need to prove yourself, no pressure to entertain or perform. Just two people coexisting comfortably. That's rare and precious to a Sigma male who values depth and authenticity over superficial chatter. He's not asking you to be a monk or meditate for hours. He's watching how you show up when there's nothing else going on. Can you be present without distractions? Can you handle the boring moments without panic or impatience? Because those moments reveal your true emotional stamina and your ability to be grounded. If you're constantly chasing dopamine hits, it's like you're allergic to depth, and that's a deal breaker for him. So when a Sigma male offers silence, it's a test wrapped in calm. If you flinch, reach for your phone, or start manufacturing drama, you fail quietly, but definitely. But if you can hold stillness and even thrive in it, you've passed one of the most subtle yet profound tests he'll ever give. That's the real indicator of whether you're built for the kind of connection he actually wants. A connection that doesn't need noise to prove it exists. Number 10, he lets you talk about people behind their backs. When a Sigma male lets you talk about others behind their backs, it's never because he wants to join the gossip club or swap juicy secrets. He's not interested in the drama or the latest scandal. Instead, he's conducting a silent, ruthless test of your character, a loyalty test played backward. Because here's the truth. How you treat people when they're not there tells him everything about who you really are. If you jump at the chance to tear someone down, complain non-stop, or spread rumors, he's watching with laser focus. That's a glaring warning sign for him that you're the kind of person who will talk about him the moment he's out of sight. Loyalty isn't just about standing by someone in their presence. It's about the respect you hold when they're not around to defend themselves. And if you can't show that respect, he knows you're not trustworthy. He's not naive enough to believe people are perfect or that everyone deserves a free pass. But he expects a baseline of integrity that means you don't weaponize gossip or vent in a way that's cruel or self-serving. If you indulge in tearing others down just for the thrill or to build yourself up, he'll file you under risk and keep his distance. Because once you open that door, there's no telling how quickly you'll turn on him when the opportunity arises. He listens not for the content, but for the pattern, the ease with which you sink into negative talk, the way you frame others, and how you carry grudges or bitterness. That reveals your emotional maturity, your values, and your sense of loyalty. And Sigma males prize loyalty above most things. It's the backbone of any meaningful connection with them. So if you want to stay in his orbit, don't let your words betray you. Keep your respect consistent, whether someone's standing right in front of you or miles away. Because for a Sigma male, loyalty is the silent contract you never explicitly sign but absolutely must honor. Break it, and he won't waste a second before quietly disappearing from your life, no drama attached. Number 11, he withholds praise on purpose. A Sigma male doesn't hand out compliments like candy, and that's no accident. It's not about playing mind games or being cold. It's a deliberate test designed to reveal how much you really stand on your own 2 feet. When he withholds praise, he's not trying to punish you or make you doubt yourself. He's watching closely to see if your self-esteem is anchored inside or tethered to external approval. If you find yourself scrambling for validation every time his recognition is missing, that's a flashing red light to him. It shows that your confidence is fragile, dependent on applause from others to feel worthy. He can spot that from a mile away because it's the kind of emotional neediness that suffocates real connection. To him, needing constant validation isn't strength, it's a glaring weakness wrapped in insecurity. Authenticity in his eyes means you know your value without someone else having to spell it out. It means you're not performing to get likes or compliments, you simply are. When he stays quiet instead of praising, he's giving you a mirror. What do you see? Do you shrink and doubt? Or do you stand tall and remind yourself that your worth isn't negotiable? He respects people who don't seek his nod to prove their importance, who don't fish for good job like it's oxygen, because those people are rooted, grounded and self-reliant, qualities he silently worships. They don't crumble when the spotlight's off. They keep shining quietly on their own terms. So if you want to pass this unspoken test, stop waiting for his applause. Build your confidence where it belongs, inside you. When you do, his silence won't rattle you, it will intrigue him. That's when you stop being just another person seeking approval and start becoming someone truly magnetic in his eyes. Because real strength doesn't shout for attention, it stands firm in its own light even when no one else is watching. Number 12. He studies what you're like when you're losing. When a Sigma male watches you in moments of loss, he's not interested in your trophies or victories. He's zeroed in on how you handle defeat, mistakes, or when someone else shines brighter. It's here in those raw, unpolished moments that your true character spills out like ink on a blank page. Winning is easy to fake, but losing exposes every crack, every ego bruise, every hidden insecurity. If you respond to losing with grace, owning your mistakes without excuses or anger, that sends a powerful message. It shows resilience, maturity, and emotional strength, the kind of qualities a Sigma male silently reveres but rarely gushes about. You're proving you're not just about the scoreboard, you're about growth and integrity. That makes you magnetic in a way no trophy ever could. On the flip side, if you get bitter, sulk, or try to rewrite reality to suit your ego, blaming others, bending facts, or playing the victim, he's taking notes. That behavior screams insecurity and a fragile sense of self-worth. It reveals a mind that's more concerned with saving face than learning or evolving. For him, that's a deal breaker because it signals emotional immaturity and a lack of genuine strength. Trying to flip the narrative to paint yourself as the real winner when the facts don't back it up is especially telling. It's a desperate attempt to control how others see you, showing that your confidence depends entirely on the image you project rather than who you really are. Sigma males can see through that kind of smoke and mirrors instantly, and they don't stick around for the show. He respects those who can lose with dignity because it proves they're not slaves to ego or external validation. Those are the people who don't crumble when the tide turns against them. They adapt, learn, and come back stronger. That resilience isn't flashy or loud, but it's the foundation of real power. And it's exactly what a Sigma male seeks when he's watching you lose. Because in defeat, more than in victory, your true strength is revealed. Understanding the silent tests a Sigma male puts you through is like decoding a complex language of subtlety, patience, and raw honesty. He doesn't hand out approvals or signals on a silver platter. Instead, he watches, listens, and analyzes, quietly measuring your character against standards that don't need to be spelled out. These tests aren't about manipulation or games. They are his way of protecting his space and energy from anything less than authentic, resilient, and grounded. He's not interested in surface-level connections or the drama of emotional roller coasters. What truly captivates him is someone who stands firm in their own truth, who can handle stillness without panic, who shows loyalty not just in presence but in absence, and who maintains grace when the world isn't applauding. The Sigma male's tests cut deeper than most realize because they strip away masks and expose who you are when there's nothing to gain. He measures your strength not by how loudly you proclaim your worth, but by how quietly and confidently you own it, especially when praise is withheld, or when life throws curveballs your way. He values those rare souls who don't chase validation through jealousy games or frantic noise, but instead find comfort in genuine connection and shared silence. When you can sit with him in boredom without needing to fill the void, when your humor aligns with his sharp wit without moralizing, and when you show unwavering loyalty even in whispered conversations about others, you pass a test few ever truly notice, let alone conquer. This is no casual dance of flirting and games. It's a meticulous, often invisible process of discovery, where every word, pause, and reaction carries weight. The Sigma male doesn't rush to conclusions. He waits, observes, and decides if you're worthy of the rare space he offers. And once you're in, that connection runs deeper than most will ever understand. So if you find yourself puzzled by his quiet scrutiny, remember this. He's not testing you to break you, but to find out if you're the kind of person who can stand beside him, steady, authentic, and unshakable, when the applause fades and the silence settles. Ultimately, understanding these tests isn't about trying to game or manipulate a Sigma male. It's about elevating yourself to a level where you don't need to pass tests because your strength, loyalty, and authenticity naturally shine through. That's the rare prize he seeks, and when you embody it, you don't just pass his tests. You become someone who truly earns his respect, attention, and rarest form of connection. If this deep dive into the silent tests of a Sigma male hit home and left you thinking, don't just sit there, show some love. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on insights that cut through the noise. Like the video if you found it eye-opening. Drop a comment below sharing your own experiences or thoughts, because your voice matters here. And hey, if you know someone who needs to decode a Sigma male's mystery or just loves mind-blowing content, share this with them. Let's build a community of real talk, raw honesty, and no-nonsense truths. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.